FOMC, 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 FOMC. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Are you guys ready? The market is going to be volatile. FOMC, FOMC. Sound the alarm, guys. A lot is going to be happening within the next few minutes. This is about 15 minutes to the news that is about to drop. Look at what we have in front of us. Of course, as usual, Wednesday, June 14. We talked about this in the earlier live, and then we said we're going to meet up quickly to jump on this. So I hope you guys are here. If you are, let me know. All right, this is what we're looking out for at 1900 hours, which is 7 p.m. UK time. And we have the big one for the dollar. We have the FOMC statement coming out. And this is the big one. We're expecting volatility, but in what direction are we expecting the charts to move as well? The chart, if you ask me, right, from what we have now, we're going to look at the dollar, we'll look at the Euro USD, we'll look at the Pound USD cable, we'll look at the Aussie, the Kiwi, we'll look at the few instruments. Those are the major currency pairs. We'll even look at gold, because gold moves in the opposite direction to the dollar, right? So we'll look at those in a bit and then just discuss them. What are you guys thinking will happen? Is the dollar going to strengthen or is it going to weaken more? This week so far, we've seen the dollar take a big hit from the CPI and the PPI earlier today, and then it keeps on dropping. We've had more or less a vertical move down. Let me switch over to the charts and then show you this aspect of the DXY, the dollar index. Is it in front of us? So for this week, we've had more or less now we've had a vertical move. That is a vertical move, right? But from this week, it got to this area here of resistance. From the past, you can see what happened in the past over here. They got there, and then it tanked. It fell nicely in a vertical move. For this vertical move, I normally say, do not try to fight vertical moves, right? Try to fight them in there, trying to go against them. But as this is a downtrend, this is where we would like to enter to sell, or maybe even here. So I am of the opinion that this FOMC, let me say this in a slow way. I'm of the opinion that this FOMC today, in a few minutes from now, it should make the dollar to appreciate. That is my own directional bias, if anybody's going to ask me. Whether it is they increase the rates or whatever, or it remains the same as 5.25, I strongly believe we should have a pullback, and it should be a strong pullback. But let's see how it goes. And those are the levels that you can see, this level here and this level here, and the levels that I'm expecting, right, for price to get back to, and then we could look for a possible entry to follow the downtrend for this week, right? So let's see how that plays out. And if you are a counter trend trader that goes against the trend, against the market, then of course, there should be something for you on this chart as it is. You should be able to see like a form of divergence, or you could even see some chart patterns here, right? You could also see some chart patterns here on this chart. If you look closely, you should be able to see some of these things extra that would help you to know, okay, this is what is happening, this is what might happen, and so on. But if I were to show you, I could show you something in this manner, something like this. Let me see if I can pull that here. Yeah, I can drag this to this side. Let me see if I can duplicate. Can I duplicate this? Okay, I don't think I can duplicate this. But looking at what we have here, this is based on what we drew earlier from this point here. So it looks like it's sort of channeled down, right? Sort of channeled down. And then it has gotten to the lower end of this channel here, right? It has gotten to the lower end of this channel here for the DXY, for the dollar index. Then it is screaming time to pull back. It's screaming oversold, oversold, oversold. Meaning that we need a pullback, either a pullback to this area then drops, and this area should also coincide with this trend line down, showing that the trend is going down in this channel. It could also coincide here, and then we could have some fresh sales and then take it back down. right? Or it could even hug. A lot of this could happen. It could hug this channel down, this diagonal down, and then before pushing higher. Tomorrow we have high impact news as well, but trust me, I'm more interested in today's on the FOMC, right? And especially based on the fact that the market has been going down, it is Wednesday. We should get a decent pullback. You can see I'm also saying this is Wednesday. Why? Because by the time you study the market, you start to have a good enough understanding of how the market moves, what we're expecting, and so on, right? So you can map out your own chart based on your expectations, and either one that it plays out to, you then do what? You then do the needful. In the next 10 minutes thereabout, we would cross to, we'll be switching between the Forest Factory calendar section and then also the charts, right? To have a good gauge, a good idea of what's happening in the market. Right, so that is that for what we have here. Okay, so 10 more minutes to show down, but let me just flip over to the remaining instruments that we have. You can see as the dollar is going down, it means that we're expecting a pullback. And if it's the Euro USD, you notice that the Euro USD is going up and we're expecting a pullback as well. We also have this area. Let me just put this horizontal line here. We also have this area as a potential area for buyers to come in as untested and then take it back up, or it pulled back to this area here. This area that has acted as resistance in the past, as you can see, and then acted as support yesterday and today, and then pushed higher. But we'll see whether it gets back to this point here or this point here, and then see whether the price will go higher as well. So this is what we're looking at now with respect to the Euro USD. So if you were to ask, oh, what is the bias for Euro USD? What are you thinking of doing with respect to the FOMC? I would prefer to be a buyer, right? So I prefer to wait for the market to get there. Let's see the price action we get whenever it hits these areas of interest. And we have the areas of interest here as number 1, and then here also as number 2. I won't call this an area of interest. Well, I will, but I won't call it for this week because it's too far away. If it gets here, most likely my bias might even change to the downside. So probably 1 or 2 to keep the bias for this Euro USD. This is the Euro USD 1 hour. Keep the bias for this Euro USD 1 hour still on the long, still on the buy position, more or less. That is for trend trading TT, right? As a counter trend trader, you may be looking for something around here. You may be looking for a sort of sell entry around here, right? Great. So we've talked about the areas with respect to what to expect, whether as a buyer or as a seller. This same also applies when you check the cable GBP USD. You can see it is pretty much similar to the Euro USD, and you can see clearly the price is also an uptrend. This is clearly an uptrend, and it's best for you to follow the trend. For you to follow the trend, you want the price to get back to this area of interest, get your entry, and then push it back up, which should be a good enough profit. If you ask me, it should be a good enough profit in the market. But let's see how it plays out, right? It could even still push higher a bit. You could just do one more leg up. Don't forget, we have 2 series of news coming out with respect to the FOMC. We have the first one, which is the FOMC statement by 7 p.m. and then the FOMC press conference. At times, the FOMC statement might not be that volatile, but then it's the press conference right after. This is 7:30, 30 minutes after the release of the statement, that would give that drive, that firepower to the movement at the end of the day. Excuse me, need to clear my throat. So if you look, we have about approximately 6-7 minutes to the FOMC statement in a few minutes, right? In a short while. So this is the cable, this is the pound USD here, and then we have the Aussie. You can see the Aussie too. Let me just get rid of this, so just to show that it's moving in an upward manner. You could even use this as a form of trend. Some traders also use trend lines. This is a trend line that we have drawn here. And as you have drawn this here, you could be looking forward to price getting back to the trend line and then getting an entry. But you only do this trend line when it confluences with a sort of support and resistance. When it confluences with a sort of support and resistance, and we have something here, something in this manner. I'm going to show you why I picked that area, because we have here as a resistance, support, support, support. So this is still valid. So we could be looking for this point here for buy, or for this point here for buy, just as we're looking at the Euro USD, the Pound USD, which is the cable. We're looking at the dollar index itself. And even if you cross over to the Kiwi, you'd most likely see the same thing as well, right? So this is what we're talking about with respect to the FOMC news coming out in a bit. If you guys have any question or any comments, feel free to ask and see what we can do. Okay, or if no question, no comment, then no problem. We are just doing this quickly. Now, once the news drops, I'm going to wait for the news to drop in the next 5 minutes. Wait for the news to drop in the next 5 minutes. And when it drops, we'll see the volatility, we'll see what price does, and then we'll be able to probably take advantage if it gives us the opportunity to, or we'll sit on our hands. I know lots of traders are waiting for this news just to occur so that they can start placing trades. But that is not the way to trade. I repeat, that is not the way to trade. You simply what? You simply wait for the news to drop. When it drops, and then you do what? You follow through according to how the market behaves, how the market acts. And that's why we are supposed to be reaction traders. We are reaction traders. And as a retracement trader, you are waiting for the trade to pull back. When the trade starts, when the market starts to move in a particular direction, whether up in like what we have in front of us, an uptrend, I personally will not rush to start looking for buy positions, but rather I will look for the price. I'll wait for the price to start to pull back. And once it pulls back, then I hopefully get an opportunity to jump in. Because at times the pullback might be violent and it doesn't give us something, solid with respect to the price action. Right? Guys, this is just going to be a short one just to have a quick look. I repeat, just have a quick look at what we have in front of us. Have a quick look with respect to the dollar, the DXY, the FOMC news coming out in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes, guys. Excuse me, to clear my throat properly. 3 minutes. In the next 3 minutes, we're going to have this news drop. And then once it drops, it will look like all hell has been let loose. Because the volatility level will be so high, price will be moving up, down, will be moving in, whipsaws, slippage. If you're straddling, your two positions will get 2 penny positions could easily get triggered, and then it's more or less like hedging, and it's just like a big mess, right? It's just a big mess all over, right? So now, I think we have about 2 more minutes. So let's cross back to the calendar. Let's just flip back to the calendar quickly, and you can see the timer on the calendar. What's the time? Let me just get the calendar out. So when we switch to the calendar now, you'll be able to see the timer. And that's what I normally also use to do my countdown, right? So now we are switched back to the calendar, and you can see Wednesday, June 14. Remember, this is UK time, 7 p.m. with about two more minutes, or rather 1 minute. If you look over here, you can see the countdown, about 1 minute, 42-3 seconds now. That means that by the time this news comes up, you can refresh this. You can click on refresh here. When it refreshes, it gives us the information. Are they going to increase the rates? Is it going to appreciate? Or what is the likelihood, or what's the thing that might most likely happen? Based on the interest rates, right, they have been hiking it for a while now, because based on inflation from last year and all, the rate has been going higher and higher. But now the expectation, the forecast is the same as the previous 5.25%. Right, they're expecting it to be 5.25% again. But let's see whether to be the same 5.25 when it comes out, or let's see whether to increase by 25 basis points or 50 or whatever the case might be. But only time will tell. I repeat, only time will tell. So we're going to wait for this time to come, right, in the next 40 seconds thereabout. And when this happens, we're going to see the reaction on the charts. Let's cross back to the chart, because we're going to see the market start to move. If you look over here, this place here where you have the quotes, you can see we are moving up and down. Look very well. You can see it has already started to jump. And in a few seconds from now, and we're going to see how the price is going to react across board. across board for the dollars, because now we're looking at the dollar and it's about 20 seconds now. So it's a major countdown. So let's see how it plays out. Are you guys ready? Please do not be in a hurry to try to jump into the market because it could give off some whipsaws. There could be unnecessary losses, and that's what we try to avoid. 5 seconds, guys. Let's see whether it is the FOMC statement that moves the market. Look here. Let's see whether it's the FOMC market that moves the market, or it is. Wow, did you guys see that? In a very short while, and you can see it's heading back to this area. This is the Euro USD. That means that the dollar is what? The dollar is going up. Remember we said I love trading. I love trading because once you conduct your analysis and it plays out according to what you have already done earlier, it gives you that confidence. We talked about this area as resistance, and here too, and we said the price should retrace. It should retrace because of this major move that we had to the downside. So this is what some traders could do. Some traders could easily set penny orders here and then leave the stop loss here. But I'm not a big fan of penny orders. Can you see what's happening? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, wow. I don't know what to say anymore. I totally love trading. It brings so much joy when you can make your analysis, your predictions before, and then what happens, it comes out according to what you had planned. And you can see now it has gotten to this first area of interest. Some traders could easily set a penny order here to sell it and see whether this same candle goes down. Because this same candle that just opened is a fresh one. Don't forget we have the news coming out by 7:30 for the press conference. The 7:30 p.m. news could be the one to just reverse this whole. Look at this massive candle. It's not yet over. It's going to close the next 1 hour. Let's look at what's happening with the Euro US. Look at Euro USD. It's gotten to this area that we mapped. Remember, we mapped this area here in front of us and said which is untested. Over here, prices are jumping up and down. If you check on the spread, where is it? Spread here has increased. Before it was about 6 pips, 5 pips, 6 pipettes, 5 pipettes. Now it's about 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Look at the massive candle of this Euro USD. Check across board. The cable is the same thing. Check on the remaining. The Aussie, massive candle. Because it's getting to that trend that we mapped out here. People could be looking for entries to buy as well. Remember, we also did something here where on the AUD USD, we said this could also be an area of interest. And you can see price has more or less gotten there. I think I might need to slow down on my talking now because because the momentum of price and trying to keep up, it's more or less like we're doing commentary. And the dollar chef, you can see the dollar chef, big candles all over, gold, big candles. And that's thanks to the dollar. Beautiful. You can see it hit this area to the T. So someone can set a penny order here and it get triggered and you're good to go. But that is not my style. I like to wait for proper PA candlestick pattern, candlestick formation before I jump. So if I miss this opportunity, no problem. But then if it goes my way, it just helps build that more confidence in myself. Traders are lacking confidence today because of the analysis. They don't know how to pick their levels very well. Levels, areas, zones, support, resistance, supply, demand, very key, very, very important. Once you can pick them, you are good to go. A quick question for you. This candle that we have over here is massive like this. Even with the press conference, do you think, it's just a question, do you think this same candle is going to get to this point here? It's just a question, right? I have my reason for asking that because when you look at like elasticity, like a rubber band, when you stretch it so much, wow, you can see what's happening. It's trying to breach this and even get to this point. But the question still remains, do you think it's going to get to that point here where we have these 3 arrows down? Because it's also a valid place for us to sell. And that we don't use penny orders. I personally don't use penny orders. So if you use penny order here and so was above, you're out. It has taken you out. Are we together? The market has taken you out, right? And if you check, I'm going to switch over to the calendar now because let me switch over to the calendar. So let's see whether it remained the same or you can see that it remained the same at 5.25. At 5.25, it remained the same, which should be neutral. But we always say high impact news. And when we talk about the FOMC, you don't mess with the FOMC. Whether it is good or bad or it is neutral, it is usually explosive. It comes with a lot of volatility, and that's what we can see right in front of us. It comes with a lot of volatility. So if you look at this FOMC statement, the same thing is more or less neutral, but the market is doing what is playing according to the market. And that's why we always say fundamentals and technicals are very important. And you trade what you see. What you see is on the chart. Can you see what's happening here? This would be a fantastic place for me to place a trade. Penny, if I was an aggressive trader, I'll place a trade now on this dollar index, or I'll place a trade now on this Euro USD, or even on, okay, not yet on the cable. It hasn't got in there. Worst case, I can have this area here on a cable for us to wait for. But I'll play this aggressively. Look at this now. It has gotten to this area here on the Aussie dollar. So I would aggressively place a trade over here as well, and then wait for it to push higher. So this analysis that we normally conduct before, during, and even after, right? So with that said, I'm going to round up now. I would have loved to have waited till like 7:30 for the press conference, because the press conference can easily reverse everything that we see in front of us. Can easily reverse it, or they can add to it as well. But the truth now is that you need to look at the size of the candles already formed. You need to look at like what investors think about what investors are doing now. You have a lot of investors that are scalpers trading with heavy money. Even you might have some prop firms, or at the banks, or whatever the case might be. So they might be scalping, or maybe position, or whatever the case might be as well. And when this happens, maybe they need to double up or add more positions to take it back in their favor. And then they're also seeing the size of the candle, and they know that this size of the candle, history has told us, from if you look at the back, at the past, history has told us that this kind of candle, will it get bigger? Most likely not. It might still be there. It might be the next candle for the next hour, because it's on the hourly time frame for this AD USD. It might be the next candle that might be another drop down. But one candle, I strongly don't believe that one candle, as we have over here, this one candle will get to this point here. I don't believe that this one candle we have here will get to this point here. That is my own belief. That's based on the experience and what I've been seeing for. Wow, look at this candle. Let's watch. I think I'll try and see if I can wait for the press conference. If I can't, press conference should have some reactions here, which is in the next 24 minutes, right? So you can see what we're talking about here. And of course, once you look at this, you have to understand the market better, and then you can do what? You can place trades accordingly. Someone said this is going to work. Okay, great. Make sure you are careful. Know how you're going to enter. You must always have your entry criteria, your entry trigger, and your entry patterns, and so on. So when you have it, you enter. You don't have it, you leave it. Even if it works in your favor and you are not able to get an opportunity to enter, then no problem. So let me just pop in real quick and then explain this to you guys. And I hope that this was helpful. And I'm just going to go back and kick back and relax and wait for the press conference in the next 23 minutes thereabout. So if you have any questions later, feel free to reach out, and I'll be rounding up now. And I want to say thank you. Let's watch this together, watch this on your system, and then hopefully this helps somebody out to understand how the market behaves, how the market ticks and all. Okay, so thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. Wow, look at where it has gotten to. I will smack this guy down. I will smack that dollar. I'll smack every other one that has to do with it, meaning that I'll be entering aggressively. That was once upon a time. But now I like to wait for, wow, look at the size of this candle. What are we talking about here? Let me zoom in a bit. Look at the size of this candle, and we still have the press conference. So this might just be the area that it might tank. Mark my words, guys, if this market from this other point to start to drop, then trust me, you can easily make money on the dollar, meaning that for Euro USD is a buy, Pound USD is a buy, and the other ones that have dollars, make sure you know the position of the dollars, whether it's in the first currency, the first position, or the second currency. That will determine if it's going to be a buy or a sell at the end of the day, right? So let's work this together on our systems, and then maybe tomorrow when we meet up, we can discuss this as well, and then take it up from there. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. It's just a quick one. We'll reach out to you tomorrow, and then we'll have further discussions. Thank you. Goodbye, and God bless. Cheers.